Hello and welcome to this video. I'm Lucy, an Australian piano accordionist. I've been playing the accordion for 10 years. I'm here to inspire you and help you learn to play. But today we're talking all things busking, aka street performing. If you haven't seen my last video on this topic, please check it out up here. I discuss the pros and cons of busking, to busk or not to busk. Spoiler, yes, you should busk. But today we're talking about your busking checklist. What things do you need to bring along, have prepared in advance before you go out and entertain the people? All right, guys, let's get into it. First things first, check out the local busking laws. Depending on where you live in the world, you may have to get a busking permit. If you're not sure, just go on the internet and look up busking permit, street performing permit in your town. Go on the council's website. Some don't have any rules around this, and some are very strict and have a whole policy, procedures, systems in place. So find out what it is. The permit might range from being valid for a month to being valid for a year. It might require ongoing payments or just a once-off payment. You might need to audition to get the permit, or you might just need to fill out a form saying what you intend to do. In Melbourne, you're required to submit an application, attend a lecture, and be approved for your permit, which is actually like a physical card that you then can like wear on a lanyard around your neck. And then they give you a map of parts of Melbourne you can and cannot busk, where you can play amplified, where you must be unamplified. And there is a zone, the Bourke Street Mall, which is the most popular shopping strip in Melbourne, where you actually have to do another one-on-one audition and then be either approved or rejected to then go on a waiting list to get an actual time slot to perform on that street. Some buskers started there, such as Tones and I. She's now super famous, successful musician, so it can be a really incredible opportunity. Some systems are not so organized. I have paid for permits that never arrived in the mail, and then no one answers the phone when I try and chase up on it, so I just went out and busked anyway. No one ever checked whether or not I have the permit. And that's what I found. People aren't generally following up on who has a permit and who doesn't have a permit. If you're in a smaller town, it tends to be the bigger cities with like bigger busking cultures and more competition. That's where they tend to be enforcing it. But police don't really care, in my experience. They're probably not even aware of what the regulations are around it. It's more of a council thing. And as long as you're following the rules, for example, you might only be permitted to play for 1 hour in a certain location before you move, or you might have to be a certain distance from shop fronts. As long as you're following that, you shouldn't run into any issues. I have heard of buskers getting fined hundreds of dollars for performing outside of the curfew, like just a couple minutes after 11 p.m. in Melbourne. I know someone who got fined immediately on the spot. In all honesty, permits are a bit of a pain in the butt, but to be safer than sorry, I recommend you go out and find out what the requirements are and get your permit. Let's talk clothing. Now remember, you are the brand, and the way you present yourself not only represents you as a person, but your business, your music business, and potential clients are walking all around you, and they're judging you and the way you present yourself. And the way you present yourself can be the difference between getting a gig or not. Now, if you're not interested in getting gigs and you're just busking for the fun of it, wear whatever you want. But if you are looking to grow and expand, and if busking is sort of an entry for you into the gigging world, try and show prospective clients what they can expect from you if they booked you for a gig. For example, when I'm busking and I'm playing French music, I wear a beret, I wear my swing skirt with a petticoat, I do my hair and makeup, I put in the effort so I can show people what to expect if they book me. I treat it like an actual gig. Accordionist the great Morgani has built a massive following for the outrageous costumes that he wears while performing in the US. Funky Bunny is another one who performs in Melbourne in a full bunny costume head to toe and plays electric guitar. You don't have to go exactly that far, but it's a good example of the impact your outfit choice can make. I've personally noticed the difference in people's level of engagement with me when I dress up and make it a full experience. If you busk in winter, invest in a good quality pair of fingerless gloves. You don't want something too bulky that you can't, strum your guitar with or play your keys with. So find a great thin pair of gloves that, are cut off low enough that you can still move your fingers. It took me a while to find the right pair of gloves, but I was gifted these really funky pairs from my friend. Another thing for your checklist is music stand and sheet music. Now, if you've already got your music memorized, then you don't need to worry about this, but don't wait to get your music memorized before you go busking. You'll hear people say that it's not worth going busking if you don't have your music memorized, but I don't agree with that at all. I have performed with a stand and sheet music before and had a great time. I've received tips from people. There was no issue at all. I certainly prefer to do it memorized because I can be more engaging with people, but don't let that stop you. Just go out with your music stand, with your sheet music, but make sure you bring some pegs or clips or something to keep the music on the stand, because there's nothing worse than the pages flipping around all over the place while you're trying to perform. This one seems obvious, but bring food and water. Any amount of dehydration will affect your performance, make you weaker physically, mentally. You don't want to be in that position where you've been busking for an hour and you're parched, you need some food, but the crowds are loving it and you don't want to pack up and stop, so you just keep going, but really you're dying inside. And it's also not really the best thing to have to leave your instrument and your equipment out while you go buy food and water. I don't recommend doing that or trusting a stranger with your things. You really need to be the responsible person for your own things. So bring food, bring water for more than you intend to stay. If you intend to stay for an hour, bring enough for 3 hours. Bring something to collect tips. Now this one seems obvious as well. So you'll just need a hat or a bowl or an empty tissue box holder where people can slot it in, or just use your case. I prefer to use my accordion case because it's quite deep and large. People can throw money in it from a distance, so they don't have to come too close. They also don't have to get in each other's way if multiple people are coming up. And it's really easy for children who don't really have great coordination. It's hard for them to miss when it's a massive box in front of them. And it's also just really obvious that that's where the money goes. Also consider bringing a tea towel or a cloth. Money is dirty. And you don't want that money and other things flying into your case where you have to then put your instrument at the end of the day. People have unusual tipping etiquette. I have received fruit, credit cards, cigarettes, all kinds of things that weren't actually money in my case. And I used to just let the money and everything go in my case, and it just got so dirty over time. Also just leaves and stuff blow around and get in your case. So I always bring a tea towel now. At the end of my session, I can just bundle it up and then my instrument can just go back in this case. And once you are done busking, you will also need somewhere to put the money. Otherwise, it's just rolling around in your bag. I just bring a simple drawstring bag. So I get the tea towel, I just tip all the money into the drawstring bag, and then I put the tea towel in the bag. Then the bag goes in a bigger bag, and it's just easiest that way. Something else you need to consider bringing is cash to get it started. It's always a good idea. When I'm in Australia, I put silver coins and gold coins in my case, and when I'm in the US, I just put some $1 bills in the case and then put some coins on top. Make sure you do have coins, because if people start tipping you bills or notes, it can just fly away unless you can weight it down, not just with 1 or 2 coins, but a good handful of coins. Put it on top so it's not going to fly away. I have chased many $1 bills down the street and it's very embarrassing. It makes you look super desperate. It also encourages people to sort of get the ball rolling. People like to do what they think other people are doing, and if they see coins in your case, they're more likely to just follow suit. And it also just looks really sad when you start up without putting any coins in, because the first person that walks along doesn't know you just set up and they see that you've made no money, and then you're like, but I haven't really, I just got here. Consider bringing a seat. If you are going to want to sit down, instead of being limited to park benches or places where you can sit, I've seen people use milk crates or their amplifier or their instrument case or a stool. Just make sure that you are prepared with something to sit on if that's what you want to do. Business cards. Even if you're just busking for fun, not planning to get any gigs out of it, I still recommend having some business cards with your personal info on it, because you are guaranteed at some point to have someone ask for your information. I had about 5 songs under my belt when I went out busking, and I was already getting requests from people to do private parties, and I was totally unprepared. Now I have business cards that I just line up on the inside of my case for people to take. It's also a good way for them to get your information without feeling like they're interrupting your performance. Many people will be reluctant to approach you because they don't want to, get in the middle of something and then they might just walk on without even talking to you at all. So have your business cards there and put a little sign as well if you want. Just take me or something like that to make it really obvious that that's for people to take. And an idea to make your business cards more engaging is to just make them stand out from the rest. I went to a tailor once. I just got like a bagpiping jacket altered, and the tailor gave me a business card that was in a little bag with a cute little curly colored ribbon on it, and it had, I think, some candy inside it and maybe some sparkles or something. And it was so cute and fun. Like, it was an experience receiving that card because I had to actually open it. And then I didn't feel like just chucking it away or letting it get lost in my wallet with all the other business cards. I wanted to kind of cherish it because it was so cute and beautiful. So think of a way to make your business card stand out so people actually want to pull it back out again and look at it. I have business cards with an image of me, it's a shot I absolutely love. My friend in North Carolina took this photo of me a few years ago. It's me leaning on my accordion. So I have that on one side of the business card with my details on the other side. And it just makes it really obvious when they see that card that that is your business card and they took it from you. So hopefully it will encourage them to actually reach out to you and book you for something. Bring your social media information. So what I recommend is printing off really large social media logos. So print off the Instagram logo, print off the TikTok logo, whatever you want people to find you on, and then stick that on a piece of cardboard and write in really big letters, like big text star, your handle for those social media platforms, and then put that in front of your case. That way anyone walking past can see where to find you, and it's a good way for them to also tag you, send you content, and just follow you if they like your stuff. Something I should also mention, I don't have experience in this myself, but a QR code. We are now in the pre-COVID cashless society where a lot of people just don't use cash anymore. I personally haven't found a decrease in the amount of cash I receive when I busk, so I haven't felt the need to do it. But if it's something that you've found in your society is kind of drying up, people just aren't using cash anymore, then you can get your own QR code generated that will link people to your PayPal or just to like websites or places where they can tip you online. This is kind of a bonus optional one, but Percussion. I bought a cheap foot tambourine from Amazon. I tap my foot when I play anyway, so if I just stick a foot tambourine on the end of my foot, it's not really any extra work for me, but it gives this kind of like, one woman band vibe because I'm like technically playing 2 instruments when I've got my foot tambourine and my accordion. Just a fun thing to kind of enhance your performance and surprise people. And here's for a cheesy one, your smile. I have seen it myself. Your smile and the way you look has such an impact on people wanting to tip you. It's like a dial. I can turn the smile on and the tips come in. I turn the smile off and the tips just stop rolling in, because people find your joy and your energy infectious, and that is almost as valuable to them as the gift of your music. The music and your joy together, it's an amazing combo, and people just can't help but reciprocate that energy and show you that they appreciate what you're doing. Anyway, guys, that's all I have for your busking checklist. I hope this helps you feel a little bit more prepared going out to busk for the first time. If there's anything I missed, please put it in the comments below and help everybody else out. And subscribe so you can be here for the next video in the busking series. All right, see you next time, guys. Bye.